partition. So under the what extended partition, so now you will go for the what like logical partition. You will go for the what logical partitions. So boot is 1 GB, swap is 4 GB, slash is 12 GB. So these three are the what primary partitions, and the fourth partition is called as extended partition, which is called what 43 GB. But under extended, you will create your what multiple logical partitions. So that's what in every operating system, not only in the Linux or Windows or everywhere. By default, every hard drive supports 4 partitions. Ultimately, the first 3 partitions are primary partitions, and fourth one is the what extended partition. Okay, under extended, people will create your what multiple logical partitions. So here, logical partitions under the what extended. Fine. And the next one is, what are the disk identifications in the Linux? So remember, this is also a good idea. I mean, how to identify disk partitions. So remember, when the hard disk is SCSI or SATA devices, the Linux identification name, I mean, /dev ESDA, and /the IDE hard disk means /dev HDA, and virtual hard disk means /dev VDA, and cloud devices means /dev XVDA, and NVMe devices means /dev NVMe 0 and 1. So these are all of the what disk identifications. Disk identifications. That means, okay, for example, just assume my hard disk is SATA, or it is called what KZ divisor. SATA or KZ divisor. So SATA or KZ devices are, it's looking like /dev /SDA is the what namings /dev SDA. So this is called what every hard drive by default located in the /dev because it is a device. But after dev, hard disk namings are SD indication is SATA disk or SCSI disk, and A is position of the hard disk. A is a position of the hard disk. So if you attach one more hard disk, then you will get /dev/SDB is the second hard disk. If you attach another hard disk, then you will get /dev/SDC, like this is the what third hard disk. So generally, SCSI or SATA devices namings are like this. Okay, you want to create number of partitions are here. Then what are the partition names? So now it's like /dev/SDA1, and then /dev/SDA2. It is called what? A is the what? Number of partition in the first hard disk. Second partition in the first hard disk. So like that, we can create multiple partitions in the hard disk. In case you want to create a partition in the second disk, then the namings are /dev SDB1. And then you want to create a second partition, then it is called what? /dev/SDB2, like this. Okay, so this is called what? Namings. I mean, SCSI or SATA device namings. Okay, for example, my hard disk is virtual hard disk. So virtual hard disk means the namings are like hard disk name, hard disk is virtual. Then you will get it. The namings are /dev/VDA, VDA virtual disk. Then you want to create number of partitions in the same hard disk. Then how to get it? The same name /dev VDA1. So then you want to create your second partition /dev VDA2, like that. You want to attach the second hard disk in the virtual level /dev VDB is the second hard disk. Okay, so that's why even in the cloud devices, maybe the device hard disk is cloud, maybe AWS or any other cloud platforms. So you will get it /dev XVDA. So now within the XVDA, you want to create any partition, then it is called what? XVDA1. Then you want to create another partition, then it is called what? /dev/XVDA2, like this. If you attach the second hard disk cloud volume, I mean in the AWS EBS volume, so then the namings are /dev/XVDB is the second hard disk. You want to attach the what? Third one, then you will get it /dev/XVDC is the what? Naming. So same way, now in the VMware workstation, the device namings are latest is the what? NVMe devices. NVMe devices are non-volatile memory devices. Non-volatile memory devices. These are the what? Performance level excellent compared to other devices. So these are NVMe devices. In the NVMe devices, namings are /dev NVMe 0 N1 is the hard disk name. NVMe 0 N1. The meaning is the hard disk represents NVMe 0 is nothing but non-volatile memory. Then N1 is, that is called what? Number one hard disk. That is called what? This is the first volume. So if you like create under the what? Partitions are here /dev/NVMe 0 N1 partition 1 is here. So you want to attach the what? Second partition here, then what is the name? /dev/NVMe 0, it is called what? N1 partition 2. I mean partition 1 in the N1 hard disk, partition 2 in the what? First hard disk. Okay, you want to attach any second volume here, then how to get the what? Namings? So then /dev, it is called what? NVMe 0 N2. This is the what? Second hard disk. So under second hard disk, you want to create a partition /dev NVMe 0 N2 partition 1. This is the way to set to identifying the what? Disk partitions in the Linux environment. Disk partitions in the Linux environment. Okay, so disk partitions are very clear. So what are the disk identifications in the Linux? So we have multiple devices, but how do you know that what hard disk is? I mean, what are the volumes attached to your Linux operating system? So how to find your attached Linux volumes? So then we will use fdisk-l is the option. I mean fdisk-l is the command to check the what? Volumes. To check the what? Volumes, or in cloud people are calling volumes, and virtual devices also people are calling volumes. Otherwise these are the what? Physical devices and everything. Fdisk space -l. See now this hard disk is /dev NVMe 0 N1. That means it is a non-volatile memory. It is called what? One hard disk. Okay, this hard disk capacity is 60 GB. That 60 GB in the bytes format this is, and sectors format like this. Okay, so just observe here, we have four partitions, guys. I mean, the first partition is /dev NVMe 0 N1. Under the what? Disk 1, this is called what? Partition 1. What is the partition 1 size? 1 GB. What is the partition 2 size? It is called what? 12 GB. What is the partition 3 size? It is called what? 4 GB. What is the partition 4 size? It is called what? 3 GB. So remaining space is completely, it is called what? Free space. Completely, it is called what? Free space. Okay, now it is clear. So four partitions are successfully created. So now if you go for creating fifth partition, so out of 60 GB, almost for 12 plus 1, 5, sorry, 13, 13 plus 4, 17, 17 plus 3, 20. So 20 GB size already completed. It has been completed 20 GB. So remaining 40 GB is there. But this label type is, it is called what? GPT partition. Okay, right. So now four partitions are successfully completed. Now how to create fifth partition? Because customer is asking, or Linux operating system recommends fifth partition for storing the what? Data. Then how to create new partition? But remember guys, these four partitions are created when the OS is installed. When the OS is installed. Okay, another command is lsblk also. lsblk. This is also good command. to find the what block levels. I mean, it is called what volumes. So now here the volume name is NVMe0, N1 is the what hard disk. Under this hard disk, partition 1, partition 2, partition 3, partition 4. I mean, 4 partitions are there. Okay. So now how to create the fifth partition? How to create a fifth partition? So generally the command. So this is the what important thing in the real environment. Every day you will create multiple partitions and creating file systems, and people will mount the what file systems. Now you will get the what good clarity today. What is mean by file systems and how to mount the what file system. But why need to mount the what file systems also? Okay. First, let me explain how to create partitions. Fdisk. Okay, where to create a new partition? I want to create on the slash dev nvme0 n1. On this hard disk, I want to create a new partition. On my one volume, I want to create a new partition. If I enter, now see, so welcome to Fdisk utility. So in that case, command M for help. So you know the options how to create a partition. Like N is the option to create a new partition. W is the option to write changes. So like we have multiple options. Actually, Fdisk is a command utility to managing storages. Fine. So I don't know what are the options actually. So that's why I will go for the what? M for help option. Then take M is the option for help. Then if I enter, see this. So now M help, you want to delete a partition, D is the option. You want to list the partition, L is the option. You want to add the partition, N is the option. You want to print the partition table, P is the option. Like you want to save the partition, W is the option. You want to quit the what without save changes, Q is the option. We have multiple options are here. Okay, so let me do first N. N means add new partition. So before adding partition, I want to know how many partitions are already existing. So that's why P is the option. It will check number of partitions. Okay, already in this device, 4 partitions are there. In this device, 4 partitions are there. So let me add the word new partition N. Then enter. So now here see this GPT partition table supports 128 partitions. 128 partitions. So 5 to 128 because already 4 completed. So now it will create default one is 5. Even if you don't give the what any input value, by default system consider fifth partition. Fifth partition. Now enter. So partition number fifth one. Then the first sector value. First sector is nothing but the previous fourth partition. I mean, the last partition is partition 4. In the partition 4, uses 41945087 sectors. I mean, from the 1 to 41495087 sectors are completed out of this. Out of this. So now the fifth partition size is started from 41945088 because 87 completed. Now it considered the what next sector 88. But what is the free space? Up to 1258829086 sectors are available. So then, so the first sector by default see that 41945088. I mean the source value is considered. So that's why don't give the what any input value in the first sector value. Then enter. So now in the second sector, that meaning is last sector, how much partition you want to create. So like plus, see this here in that case, the sizes are kilobytes, megabytes, gigabytes, terabytes, petabytes. So now let me go with my partition sizes. It is called what? 3 GB only. 3 GB only. If I enter, so now the partition successfully created with 3 GB. So now see that created a new partition 5 of type Linux file system and of size with 3 GB. So now the fifth partition with 3 GB successfully completed. How do you know that? If you run P option here, it print the word existing partitions. So now the fifth partition successfully completed. What is the fifth partition size? 3 GB. So now let me create another partition. N is the option. So I told you, now we are creating sixth partition, enter. So don't give the what first sector value. I mean, it is a source value system will consider by default. Then how much size you want? Okay, let me take the next value is 2 GB. See, actually, it is a what system resolution issue, but generally plus 2 GB it consider here only. But now the system is printing here. So now 2 GB. So now here plus 2 capital G. So then what happened? So created a new partition 6 with 2 GB. So now we can check it P. So partition sixth one successfully created. So that's what I am saying. If we have a free space, then only we have created partitions here. If you don't have any free space, you will get an error. So no free sectors. I mean, if you don't have any free sectors here, then how can you create your new partition here? So that's what. Please remember, if you have any free space, then only you will create. Fine. So how to save a file? How to save these partitions? Then we will use W is the option. W means write save changes. So after creating any partition, you must to save it. What is the option to save? W, enter. So now the partition table has been altered. That means it synchronized new partitions. So then you came to outside of the F disk tool. So previously you have worked on F disk tool. Now you are come out from F disk tool. So now here we can run again command lsblk, your regular commands lsblk. So now 6 partitions are there. But how to update these two new partitions into Linux kernel? So generally, after creating partitions, you must to run part to probe command, guys. Don't forget, part to probe is the important command. What is the meaning of the part probe command? The new partitions updated to kernel. So then part to probe space. Then we will run the what your hard disk name only. Don't write the what partition names. Just write the word hard disk name only. So slash DUV NVMe 0 and 1. Now the new partitions are successfully updated. Now we will use the word partition 5 and partition 6 also. Okay, this is the way to creating new partitions in the Linux environment. So now once again, how to delete a partition in case we don't have any partition 6 or you don't want any partition 5. Then how to delete a partition? Again, you will go F disk tool space your hard disk name, enter. So now already how many partitions are there? 6 partitions are there. So now I want to delete a one partition. D is the option, enter. So 1 to 6 are there. But remember here very important point. Don't delete the word 1 to 4 partitions because these 4 partitions are running OS related information. So you will delete only 5 or 6 because we have been created fifth partition and sixth partition only. We are not created and 4, 3, 2, 1. These 4 partitions holds OS information. If you delete anyone here, then your OSs will not boot up. So now I want to delete the word 1 to 6. Even if you don't specify the word any value, then it will take the word the last one, sixth partition. So even if you write 6, then enter. See that partition 6 has been deleted. Okay, I want to delete another partition. I want to delete the word fifth one. So then how to yes, partition 5 deleted. Now P, how many partitions are there now? Only again 4 partitions. Then how to save the file? Then W is the option to save it. In case without saving, then Q is the option. Without saving means Q. With save means W. Then enter, write changes to disk. Then the next important command, don't forget it. For creating new partitions or deleting new partitions, if you do something in the hard disk, then definitely part probe command is required. For creating partitions or deleting partition, part probe command is mandatory. So that's why part probe space your device name. If I enter, yes, the device has been updated successfully. This is called what? How to creating partitions and how to delete a partitions. So once again, I will go for how to create a partition. Now fdisk n1. So n is the option to add a new partition. Then enter. Okay, now we are creating fifth partition. Now first sector value, don't give it. It consider the what? The last sector by default. Then enter. Now I want to create a size with C here 3 GB. So now we are creating the what? The new partition with 3 GB. Then enter. So now created a new partition 5 of Linux file system and size of 3 GB. So now I want to save the file W. So now partition successfully created. After creating partition, what to do? Must to run part2probe command. Yes, then we will check it lsblk or fdisk-l number of partition. The fifth partition is ready. So this is the proper way how to creating partitions in the Linux environment. This is the first step, how to create or delete partitions, how to list the volumes in the Linux environment. Then what is the second important thing? So on the new created partition, I mean we have been created partition 5. So now how to build a file system on the partition 5. But in that case, what is mean by file system? That is very, very important concept. Theoretically, file system is a very big concept, but command level file system, just for more theory, just we will use only one command how to build a file system. But what is mean by file system? So now here file systems concept. File system is a method of storing the data in an organized fashion on the disk. So every partition on the disk except MBR, master boot record, and extended partition should be assigned with some file system in order to make the store the data, in order to make them store the data. So RHEL supports file systems. I mean XFS file system, ext4, ext3, ext2, swap, vfat, bios boot, EFI, PREF, ISO 9660. We have multiple partitions supported by Linux, even in the market. So not only in the Linux, even in the Unix, Linux, Android, Windows, multiple file systems are there. What exactly mean by a file system? Okay, generally, see, I will compare the what file system meaning in the like file system meaning in Windows. What exactly mean by file system? Okay, so for example, this is my drive, guys. D drive and C drive is there. So in Windows side, we have two important file systems. FAT, FAT file system is there. NTFS file systems are there. File allocation table, new technology file system. So after attaching any new drive, for example, you have purchased one new pen drive or external hard disk. So we cannot store the what directly data in the new raw devices. Then people what to do? The first time people must to format the what devices, must to format the what devices. Generally, you are thinking about formatting is nothing but okay, it will clear the what data, maybe in case any existing in the what devices. So everyone knows formatting is nothing but it will erasing the word data in the device. Of course, it will erase the data, but technically formatting is nothing but creating file systems. Formatting is nothing but creating file system. So I will show you where is the option. So for example, we are thinking about format actually. Here is the word format option. If you attach the word pen drive, people take the word action of the format. So now if you take the word format option, so everyone automatically here is the word select and format, start the word format option. Then what is the meaning? Okay, it will erase the word complete data in the device. But can people consider the word erase the data only? But actually, so in the 300 GB, We are building the what file system? NTFS file system. I mean, on the D drive, if you format this drive within this 300 GB, it will create NTFS file system. NTFS file system. So within the 300 GB, and one block size is 4096 bytes. I mean, after formatting, the drive divided into small blocks. That's why it is a block storage. In the AWS EBS is nothing but what? Block storage. Data will be stored within the device in the block level. If you store the 1 GB data in the volume, the data will divide it into 4096 in the one block, next block, next block, next block, up to it will occupy multiple blocks until to reach 1 GB data. Okay, that's what it is called what? Allocated unit size. You want to change the block size, then here we can change the what? Each block size. But by default, one block size is 4096. 4096. Then what happened? If you start the what format option, then within the drive, NTFS file system will be created. Then what happened? This drive supports only NTFS file systems, only NTFS file system features. So NTFS file system features. So same way in the Linux environment, we have multiple file systems, XFS, ext4, ext3, ext2, or different file systems. So what are the benefits if I take multiple file system? That's what here file system is a one mechanism. File system is a one mechanism to storing the data in one organized fashion. That means it will store the data in order. Order means, for example, here see, we have different file systems in the Linux. For example, your drive formatted with ext2 file system, then what is the meaning? That drive supports one file size is maximum, one drive size is maximum 8 terabyte. Your volume size is more than 8 terabyte. ext2 file system not supported. I means ext2 supports up to 8 TB volume size. But within the 8 TB volume, in the hard disk, one file size maximum 2 terabyte only. One file size is maximum 2 terabyte. But how many subdirectories you will create? So ext2 file system supports 32,000 subdirectories. That means within the directory within the directory within the directory. And how many links it will be create? 8 links are maximum. So that's what in the soft links or hard links. Here is the word. The completely everything depending on the what file systems only. So when the file system is ext2, we cannot create more than 8 links of the one file. So because ext2 file system supports 8 links maximum, and every file system supports access control list ACLs. And in case if you format the drive with ext3, then see the update is maximum hard drive capacity 16 terabyte, but one file size is 2 terabyte. Remaining features are same. So these are the what initial Linux file systems. But now the latest file system is XFS. XFS means the implementation from the 16 TB to 100 TB. One volume size, even 100 TB, Linux operating system is recognized. The Linux operating system is recognized. But even one file size also 100 terabyte. So we can create one single file size as 100 terabyte. But subdirectories are unlimited support. No need any 32,000. It supports unlimited. Links and ACLs are common. So these are the features. When the device is formatted with file system, then definitely first you will know that what are the file system features. So based on the file system features, every volume will be working on that. So now the latest file systems in the Linux environment, XFS file system and ext4 file system. And before XFS, ext4 is there. But right now, some servers are running with ext4, some devices are formatted with ext4, and now latest is XFS file system after Red Hat 8, RHEL 8 version. So XFS is a highly scalable, high performance, robust, and mature 64-bit journaling file system. So that supports very large files and file system on a single host. That's what I'm saying. XFS supports very big volumes, and also one file size is very large, because 100 terabyte is what one file size. But Windows supports right now one file size is 2 terabyte only. 2 terabyte only. That is the reason the file systems are very powerful in the Linux environment. So the reason why storage boxes in the real time, LUNs, NetApp storages, iSCSI storages, sandboxes, NAS storages, why people integrated with Linux servers only? Because Linux file systems are very powerful. It will handle terabytes of storages, terabytes of storages. That's why the big customers of YouTube, Twitter, and like everyone nowadays who is looking for high level block storages. So backend people to use only Linux. So in the real environment, multiple storage boxes are there. But why people storage boxes are integrated with Linux servers only? Why storage boxes are attached to Linux? Because Linux file systems are very powerful. We can create multiple file sizes with terabytes also. Okay, this is the what? Next important thing. So remember everyone, file systems are nothing but what? It is called what? One order. I mean, you want to store the data in the devices. Without file system, we cannot store. That means your regular language is formatting. Formatting is nothing but building file system, means creating file system. So once your file system is created, then that device supported that particular file system features only. So now let me show you here. I mean, in my Linux environment, in the LSBLK, previously we have created partition 5. Partition 5. So now that partition 5 size is, volume size is 3 GB. So right now, there is no file systems in the partition 5. Because of what? This is the what? 3 GB. Okay. So now how to build your file system? Generally, mkfs is the command. Windows people what to how to create a file system? Right click on the volume, then next take the format option, start the what format. That is nothing but what? Creating file system. So mkfs dot which file system you want to create it. Okay, I want to create ext4, or I want to create ext3, I want to create ext2, or I want to create any ext file system. Then the syntax are 2 or 3 or 4. Under extended family, 4 is the latest. But now the good file system, which is called what? XFS, because I want to create a XFS file system in the device of forcefully under the /dev nvme0 n1 under the what? Partition 6. Now remember, we are creating XFS file system in the partition 6 of N1 hard disk. Under N1 hard disk, partition 6, we are creating XFS file system. So now if I enter, so now file system successfully created. File system successfully created. NVMe0 N1 partition, sorry, we don't have any partition 6, partition 5. So partition 5. So now we have successfully created for XFS file system on the partition 5. Then what is the meaning? Now this partition 5, 3 GB volume supported XFS file system features only. I mean XFS file system features only working on this partition 5. So you will read what are the XFS file system features. So all features are supported this partition 5. Okay, so let me compare another example in the Windows. So in the file systems in the Windows, for example, see this. FAT is the file system in Windows. FAT means file allocation table. File allocation table. And even in Windows, the another important file system, NTFS. NTFS means new technology file system. New technology file system. Okay. For example, tell me anyone. I have like my pen drive capacity is right now 32 GB pen drive is there. 32 GB pen drive is there. Okay, that completely 30 GB, 32 GB pen drive is empty. Now I have a one file, maybe Red Hat ISO image file. Approximately it is called what? 9 GB file is there. So I want to store this 9 GB file into my 32 GB file, into my 32 GB pen drive. So now this 32 GB pen drive is completely empty. And in the 32 GB pen drive, so right now, so my pen drive capacity is, my pen drive capacity, right, my pen drive file system size is fat. Here is the what? Fat file system is running in my pen drive. So is it possible or not? The size is 32 GB and now your one file size is 9 GB. Is it possible or not?
Yes.
It is possible, right?
Yes.
Because the free size is 32 GB, but our file size is 9 GB. Definitely it will store it, correct? But fat file system not accepted one file size is more than 2 GB. One file size is more than 2 GB. That's why sometimes you will get error message, file system too large, file system too large. What is the meaning? Okay, we are trying to copying one big file. That big file size is, it is called what? 9 GB. But we are accepted one single file size is 2 GB because fat file system accept one file size is 2 GB. But in the same pen drive, in case NTFS is there, then that 9 GB file size is accepted because NTFS file system accepts one file size is 2 terabyte. 2 terabyte. So you want to store the data in the drive or you want to managing the data in the drive. Everything is depending on file systems only. Everything is depending on file systems only. And see, sometimes we are trying to copy multiple files in your pen drive or some other computers or anything. So sometimes why the system is asking like try again, ignore this file, try again. So some extensions are not supported because those file systems are not supported extensions. So that's why, so why you are creating images are JPEG and why your extension files are .exe. I mean, the every extension is completely depending on the what file systems only. Okay, that's what. First, we need to read the what file system features. Okay, NTFS file system features are what? Okay, if I format my volume with the NTFS file system, what is the maximum size of the file? What drive kind of capacity? And remaining features. Okay, sometimes even you will get the what blue screen errors also. So how will you get the what blue screen errors? These kind of issues. That is completely depending on file systems. When the file systems are corrupted, then you will get a what? An error messages in the Windows. Bad sectors are created in your Windows operating system. That time the Windows will start the what recovering the what bad sector option. That's what sometimes unexpectedly you will power off your computer. The system will start 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 percentage up to 100. Once 100% is recovered, then only your system will boot up. What is the problem? Bad sectors are created. When to created bad sectors? When the file systems are corrupted in the volumes, in the OS bootable devices, then bad sectors are created. So that's what properly you will shut down the what your computer. Proper shutdown is required. So when the proper shutdown is, I mean, we are not recommended any proper shutdown. People are directly power off. So sometimes what happens? So then system will get the what blue screen errors. So remember, you finally one point, everyone. File systems are the what mechanism. So mechanism means you want to store the data in order. In order. Okay, what order? I want to store the data in my device with NTFS features. I want to store the data with FAT features. I want to store the what data with XFS features. I want to store the data with ext4 features. Then first that drive formatted with one file system. Just read it. Which file systems are best? So now here in the Linux, XFS file system is the best idea right now. That's why everyone formatted the what new devices with XFS file system, because that file system supports one volume size is 100 terabyte and one file size is also 100 terabyte. In case that volume supported to ext2, that volume supported 8 terabyte and one file size is 2 terabyte only. But when you are trying to create one file size is more than 2 terabyte, that volume, I mean that file system not supported more than 2 TB. So you want to create more than 2 TB, then we will go for the what? 100 TB. That is called what? EXFS file system. So let me show you another example how to change the what file systems actually in Windows. Practically, I will show you. This is very good concept actually. So let me attach my pen drive here. So I have attached my pen drive. Okay, connected to the host. Okay, my host is successfully connected. Then observe here. Here is what my pen drive size is 18 GB free. 18 GB free. Actually, let me format. Right now, this format is the, I mean, in the show more options. In this, we have file system type is NTFS is there. NTFS is there. So now, let me format my device. I mean, some important data is there, no issue. So now we are formatting this FAT32 file system, FAT file system. Now, so now start the word format. Generally, you're thinking about, okay, formatting means, of course, erasing the data. But now the drive is completely free. So out of 32 GB, 28.6 GB is the free. So in this drive, what file system is existing now? The file system type is, this is called FAT32. File system size type is FAT32. That meaning is FAT32 features are only working on this device. FAT32 features are working on this device. So now I have ISO image file. See this, even movies or songs or anything you will take it. So this is the what? RHL 9.4 ISO image. This is the what? 10.3 GB size. 10.3 GB size. So now let me copy this. So now I want to take the action, copy, and then go to the what pen drive, and then we will paste it. Paste it. What happens? What happens? See, the file RHL divided is too large for the destination file system. The meaning is, hey, FAT file system not accepted. It is called what? More than 2 GB of the single file. But people don't know exactly what is meant by file system, what is the file system laws like that. Some people are thinking my pen drive is corrupted, and they will take the what actions multiple times, reboot. I mean, it is called rebooting, formatting, rebooting, formatting. But ultimately, the same error it will come again and again, because technically people don't know what about file system backend. The file system size is too large. The meaning is the single file size is more than 2 GB. Then what to do? Okay, if you want to store one file size is more than 2 TB, definitely we need to change the what file system of the your pen drive. So now here is the what format again. Let me take file system type is ENTFS. Then now this device included, I mean builded NTFS file system now. So now what file system is there in this device? So now in the properties, now this device is NTFS. NTFS means one file size is accepted around 2 terabyte. So now let me copy again the same action, control V. See that now it's copying that image file of the 10 GB. So now it is copied 10.1 GB file because file system has been changed. Your pen drive is not corrupted. You don't know technically what happened in the back end. So if you know these file system properties, then definitely everything will be perfect in your environment of storage boxes. Please understand that is the advantage of file system. But what are the advantages of the file system? I mean, fat file system actually, fat file system is a universal file system. Universal file system in the Windows. Universal file system is nothing but, okay, if you format the word pen drive with fat file system, we can attach, I mean, you can access the word data from the TV, from the home theater, from the Windows, from the Linux, from the Mac OS, or everything. I mean, any OS recognized, any operating system recognized this fat file system. That's what by default pen drives are comes with fat file system only. So sometimes your pen drives are not recognized by your home theaters, your pen, like your TVs and everything. Then what is the problem? Okay, those TVs internally file systems are not supported. Not supported means what are the existing file systems in the TV or home theater? Please format the what your pen drive according to your existing file system. Then store the data. Then attach it 100%. It will accept it. So we have multiple file systems in the market, but every file system purpose is different. So network file systems are different, storage file systems are different, ISO image file systems are different, and file system too large error means it is will different. So we have multiple. IBM AX file systems are different, HP Unix file systems are different, Linux file systems are different, Windows operating system file systems are different. Only one file system is accepted, any kind of OS, which is called what? FAT file system. But your pen drive formatted with NTFS, for example, and try to store the word data and attach it to your home theater or anything, your movies or songs are not playing because NTFS is not supported your Android or any kind of operating systems. Even Linux also not accepted. So that's what data converted to your existing file systems. So based on your existing file system, so please be format your device, then only it will store it. So that's what it is. Very big theoretical concept actually. It is a very big concept. Okay, so you want to store the what any movie in the DVD or CD, then FAT, NTFS, these file systems are not supported. Then what is the file system name? You want to store the data in the DVD or any CD writer, DVD writer means. Then file system names are ISO 9660. ISO 9660 is the file system name. So that is the point here. Here see. Local storages means XFS, ext4, ext3, ext2. Network file systems means NFS, Samba. I will tell you network file system concepts. So today we are discussing about local storages. But what about remaining storage boxes? Later we'll explain. See, this is the CD, DVD, and ISO file systems. That is called what? ISO 9660. I mean, your DVD writer, CD writers are CD writers are contains ISO 9660 file systems, not XFS, ext3, ext4. So based on the volume, based on the device, you must to change the what file systems in the backend. So for a hard disk and external volumes and everything is the what local. Your pen drive, your hard disk, these kind of devices are local file systems. That means disk file systems. Okay. So we have multiple Linux file systems. At the same time, we have multiple features on each file system. Okay. So just I have explained lot of theory, but we have created only one command in the Linux environment. I mean, partition has been created with partition 5. I mean, previously we have created partition 5. But how to format your partition with file system means mkfs.xfs, this is the option. Only one action to take. But if I run this command, what happened exactly? What features are applied on this device? That is called file system. And please read the what more theory from the from the internet. Different websites offers different file system, and please understand each file system features. So generally, file system means it is one mechanism to storing the data in the devices with order. With order, what order? If you format the device with XFS, then XFS features are applied on this device. If you format the device with FAT, then FAT features will be applicable on the device. If you format the device with the NTFS, the NTFS features are applicable. So in the real time, based on the what your action, we need to create your file system on the device. You see this? Every device by default, it is a what? Raw data only, raw device only. But the devices will accept the what data based on file systems only. We cannot store some files in the same device because those file systems are not supported, some extensions. That's why while copying your data, even in the pen drive, sometimes asking ignore, ignore, ignore. Why ignore means that file systems are not supported, not supported that kind of extensions. That's why it is asking ignore this, ignore this, ignore this. Okay, so this is the just I have introduced only fdisk command, and second command is the what? mkfs command only. But I have explained lot of theory about your file system. Actually, it is not a part of concept, but everyone must to know this file system concept. It is not a part of Linux. Actually, the person should be understanding the OS level of initial stage hardware networking concepts. But I have explained more theory about file system because every engineer must to knowledge on the what file system concept. File systems are very important. So the people will take the actions based on the what file systems only. So these are the what block storages. That is concept of in AWS EBS storage, elastic block storages. So generally EBS concept means everyone will take, okay, create a volume, that volume attach it to instance and create a file system. But people don't know why need to create a file system. Then directly they will attach the what mounting option. But tomorrow class, I will take completely why need to mount it. The complete concept only mounting. 1 hour class is completely on mounting only. So today only how to create a partition, how to create a file system on the partition. Tomorrow I will explain why need to mount it. So just 3 commands, guys, but must to know lot of theory in the backend. Then only you will become a good engineer. You will take the what great actions in the real time. Okay, this is the today class, and tomorrow I will continue the what same concept. I mean how to mounting formatted file systems. I mean the partition 5 is ready. I mean you can store the data within the partition 5. Then how to store the data? That is again different actions in the Linux. That is the concept of mounting. So tomorrow I will tell you the completely mounting concept. Okay. So thank you very much. And if you have any queries, and please ask me.